Hello, everyone. Hi. I just realised I've left the front door open. Hopefully it's okay. The wind is not blowing today like it was yesterday, so I should be safe. It's all good. I'm just quickly looking and I see we have lots of commenters here already. Happy, what day is it today? Tuesday. Technique Tuesday. That's what we have today for you, and it's the 3rd of September. So I hope everyone is well and happy and feeling like they want to get some craftiness happening. Hello, Margaret Janoski. How are you? We have Margaret Gordon and Margaret Janoski here today. That's great. I wonder if Margaret Griffith is lurking around as well. She might be. Hello, Judy. It's a little bit earlier today for you, isn't it? Well, it's earlier for everyone. 2 o'clock on a Tuesday as opposed to 7:30 on a Friday and a Sunday. But I'm not sure what time it is where you are, Judy. Let's see. And Sheila, it's oh, you were here at 10 a.m. in Christchurch. Well, that was only what, 8 o'clock our time, so very early. And hello, Nicole. How is everybody going? Donna, hello. Hi. Good crowd. Good crowd. Okay. Marilyn, hello. And Anne is here on time, Anne. That's awesome. Hello, Denise. Nice to see you. And Katrina is here, and Moira and Jolene and Ronnie. Hi. Ronnie, I just sent you back an email. I hope that is okay. Let's see. And Roz is here in Florida. Hello, Jen. Nice to see you. Okay, I'm going to get started. We'll get into it. Some of you may have seen my other post I put up about an hour or so ago on Instagram and my Facebook page, my public Facebook page. Did anyone see the picture? You saw it? Good. Excellent, Ronnie. Not the picture, but the email. I know what you're talking about. It's 11 p.m. It's still late. Are you a night owl, Judy? Do you work best at night? Some people do. All right. Okay. Let me actually. Oh, you saw it, Suzanne, and Sheila and Tanya, and you all know what I'm doing, right? And it's not gardening. That's my tip. That's my hint. All right. So some of you may have guessed what we're doing today, and this is by request. Lynn up in Northern Territory has asked me if I could do this video, and she's been asking for a while, and I've been a little bit slack because I haven't got to it. But today I'm actually finally getting to it. We're not going to be able to cover everything related to this subject, but we're just going to tackle a few things and see how I can help people. If I had $1 for every time that someone had said to me, I can't save a bow to save my life, or, I just can't tie bows. And my favorite of all in a class is, would you tie it for me? Because I get that one all the time, right? Hello, Marlene. Hi, Suzanne. Hello, Deborah. So with that in mind, today we're going to do all about bows, ribbons and bows today. And we're going to talk a little bit about the difference between tying a bow just the normal, regular way, and how there is no such thing as a perfect bow. If you need perfect, then I've got another way of doing it for you that you may have got the hint from the other picture that I posted. So anyone who's watching this video isn't going to be game to ask me to tie their bows after today. So really, it is okay. I understand some people find it really difficult, and especially if you have maybe arthritis in your fingers, or they just don't work as well as they used to, then I understand that bow tying can be a challenge. Now, there are a few things that you can do. We do actually have some really nice bow stamps. There is also a really, really, really cute die, which I showed a couple of weeks ago in one of our new sets, that makes a very cute bow. So there's no ribbon tying in that. We can revisit that if anyone would like to. And let's just see how we go. So I'm going to switch over to the desk and let's go. First of all, let's straighten that up a little bit. Let's talk quickly about ribbons. In the annual catalogue, which is our current catalogue that came out back in May, we have a whole slew of different ribbons, and they are on page 112 in this catalogue. All right, so here they are, and as it says there, endless ribbon, right? Now, the thing I noticed about this year's ribbons, we've got all different kinds of ribbons, and ribbon encompasses twine as well, and we have some like This ribbon here is called bordered ribbon, and we've got that in all of our in colors. It shows them up the top here. But the thing about these ribbons is that they are a good width for tying bows, and they are not shiny. They're not going to slip through your fingers or any of that. So they're quite nice to work with. Okay, so we've got everything from that. Then we have some more satiny ones. At the moment, we also in our online exclusives have some vanilla satin ribbon. That's actually this one. I pulled it out to show you. And that's a much wider ribbon. Now, this width is 3/4 of an inch. Okay, not as easy to tie necessarily on a bow, and probably too big to put a bow on a card, unless you really want to go over the top and have a huge bow on your card, which you might. Okay, but this is, I think this kind of ribbon is fantastic for wrapping presents, you know, putting a bow on a present, or adding to a wreath or something like that. Now, something we don't have at the moment is any super thick bows, okay, or ribbon I should say. So for example, you know, a big ribbon like maybe a couple of inches wide, we have had these. Those kind of ribbons look really good on like a wreath that you might pop on the door, or once again, good for tying up presents, fantastic for bows on a Christmas tree or decorations. So different types of ribbons have different applications, shall we say. Now, Denise and I, hello Denise, we're talking a few weeks back, and she was saying her favorite width, and I think everyone has their favorite width of ribbon that they like to tie with. Okay, her favorite width is 1/4 of an inch ribbon, and we do actually have a couple of those. For example, in the brand new catalog coming out tomorrow, yes, tomorrow, oh my goodness, we have this 1/4 of an inch ribbon, okay, which is 6.4 millimeters. It says right there, satin ribbon width 1/4 of an inch, 6.4 millimeters. Okay, and there's approximately 9.1 meters or 10 yards on a roll. That's a standard size roll for Stampin' Up. Now, if you buy ribbons in a pack, like a 2-pack or a 3-pack of ribbons in a pack, usually there's not the 9.1 on those kind of rolls. So usually it's like 4.5 or something, or 4 meters, something like that. So keep an eye out on those ones, because if ever you're buying ribbons in a pack, they won't be the same amount of ribbon that you get on a roll when you buy a roll by itself. Okay, and Leslie says 1/4 of an inch is her favorite width too. And Denise is confirming, yes, it's 1/4 of an inch. And there's the cream woven ribbon in the online exclusives. Yes, I did actually. Oh, where did I put it? I did actually get that. In fact, I think I got it after you and I were talking, Denise. And I've got I need to redo my ribbon storage because it's a bit of a mess. Okay, this is the ribbon Denise is talking about. This is cream. Okay, and can you see it there? All right, and it is 1/4 of an inch. Now, the other factor to think about, 1/4 of an inch is a good size for tying. Let's tie one, and I'm just going to tie it the normal old way. Okay, this is how I tie ribbon. I make a loop. Okay, I hope everyone can see this. Okay, let me get rid of that because I might get this off the table and you might be able to see better. All right, so we're going to tie a loop. Okay, then we're going to go around the loop. There used to be does anyone know the little verse about, you know, the bunny goes around there's a bunny that goes around the tree, and does anyone know it? Because I actually don't know it, but I know there is one. Now, the thing about tying a bow like this, and I have been tying bows like this for years and years and years, and you guys see me tie bows in my videos all the time, okay? Now, there is no such thing as a perfect bow. Every ribbon that is tied into a bow in the way I've just done needs to be adjusted and fiddled around with it until it looks the way you want it to look. And it's not going to be perfect. See how it's not completely, can you see it? It's not completely symmetrical. That's okay. It doesn't need to be. Don't think that your bows have to be perfect. You're probably putting so much expectation on yourself that you have to have a perfect bow that it's no wonder you think you can't tie them. Okay, so relax your expectations a little bit, and then just fiddle around with your ribbon till it looks kind of the way you want it to look. All right, that's what I do. I just fiddle around, and I like my bows to be fairly small when I use them, and then, you know, trim it off or whatever. Okay, now you can cut the length before you start, or you can just tie it on the roll like this and then trim it off. Okay, I find I waste less if I do it this way. However, you know, that's up to you. That's personal preference. Okay, and I find for most of the time I need 20 to 25 centimeters roughly. So what, that's 23 of ribbon to work with. I'm just going to cut that. I should be using my ribbon scissors. Why am I using paper snips? Because I grabbed them, that's why. All right, so that's 20, just check, 23 centimeters of ribbon. So that's going to be plenty to work with. And then when I pull it through, now this is 1/4 inch, so it's easy to tie, and you can see it's, you know, very, I can manipulate the ribbon quite easily, okay, because of the size of the ribbon. Right, now the other thing to think about is what the ribbon is made out of. Some types of ribbon, now this is a thin satin ribbon, and it will always tell you on the pack what type of ribbon it is. So this is woven ribbon. Let's open it. I haven't even opened it yet, Denise. That's how long I've had it. So this one is thicker. All right, so this is a thicker material. You can, I don't know if you can see it, but it's kind of puffy. It's got almost like, I can't even describe it, but it's called a woven ribbon. Okay, so this is a much flatter ribbon. I find a flatter ribbon easier to tie. If a ribbon starts to get too bulky, it doesn't tie as easily or as nicely. So do the loop. And the bunny only goes around the tree in a bowline knot. Well, there you go, Nicole. See, I don't know these things. Yes, I know the bunny ears way, and we might do that in a moment. All right, so this actually looks quite nice now that I've actually got it. I thought it might not tie very nicely, but it does. I guess it's because it's 1/4 inch. Even though it's a thicker material, the 1/4 inch still ties nicely. Okay, so that's good, and then I could come in here and trim it off. Okay, now a word on trimming off. Some ribbons fray really, really easily, others not so much. Okay, now if you have one that is going to fray easily, you'll know because when you pull at the ends, it comes completely apart. Now this one pulls a little bit, but not very much. So I would think that wouldn't fray easily. If it's a frayish, a fraying type bow or material, I think that you would either want to cut it on an angle to stop it from fraying as much, or so I have seen people, you know, use a cigarette lighter and actually singe the ends a little bit to actually stop them from fraying. Now, I don't advocate that you do that because some of our ribbons, for example, I saw someone do it once with a seam binding ribbon and the whole thing just went up in flames. It was pretty dramatic, actually. So, you know, there are certainly some ribbons that we have that are not suitable to do that. And I think you need to be very careful about doing it. So, yeah, it does work for some ribbons, but I wouldn't advocate that. All right, so I'm just going to come in here, and for this one, I'm just going to, because it's not going to fray very much, I'm just going to cut my ends straight, right? And then let's put our ribbons down. As we go through, I'm going to pop my ribbons here. Okay, so here's one, this one. Now, also, the other thing is, if you tie a ribbon and you can't get it to look right, sometimes turning it over, it looks better on the other side. Sometimes. This one, not so much. All right. Now, what Nicole was talking about, you're talking about the bunnies when you got 2 loops and you tie the 2 loops together. That's another way to go about doing your ribbon. Just tie the 2 loops together and then pull it tight and pull it back. So that's another way of doing it as well. All right. But that's not really what I want to spend my time talking about today. This is actually, it didn't turn out too bad, but you can kind of see we need to play around with that one a little bit more to make it look the way we want it to look. All right. So who still thinks, oh my gosh, but I just can't get them to look the way I want them to look? I had a bit of fun playing with lots and lots of bows. Look at this. Had some fun. I'm using my mechanics tray today. This is the magnetic tray. Normally it's meant to hold my loose dies, but because we're not using dies today, I'm using it to hold my ribbons. So there we go. Oh, and I forgot to pull out a couple more ribbons. All right, so I have a few favorite ribbons to tie. Now, sometimes 3/8 of an inch is another size. I find the ribbon sizes between 1/4 and 1/2 is my favorite. Yes, it does feel like suede, Denise. You're right, it does. And yeah, Judy said it's got texture on it. And Gina says she's bow challenged. Yeah, look, it's really common. Don't feel like you're the only one. Lots of people can't tie bows. And the only reason I'm halfway decent at bows is because I have tied thousands and thousands of them. Okay, so it is one of those things, the more you practice, the better you get at it. But sometimes it's so frustrating getting there that you don't even want to practice, right? Yes, that's true. Oh, whoops, I just lost my screen for a second. Here, it's back. It's all right. Yeah, it was for nautical knots, that story. That's right. Yep, I remember hearing that story as well. Yes, I did say I was going to get it, and I did. So there you go. I got the cream ribbon. So it's interesting to note, and Janice and I were talking about this when we were having coffee a few weeks ago, and as she mentioned, it's cream ribbon, it doesn't say vanilla, it says cream. So that's kind of interesting, because I would have thought this was vanilla, but no, it's cream. Is there a difference, do you think? I wonder. All right. So I'm just going through to see if I've missed any questions or anything. Yes, using all the pieces trimmed off when tying bows. Yep, true. Okay. Oh, good morning. Deborah saying kia ora to Sheila. Very nice. All right. Hello, Cherie. How are you? All right. So let's see. What else do we have? I've gone through and tied a whole bunch of our different bows because I wanted to see what they would look like. So this is one that I tied just the normal way, and I just fiddled around with it until I got my, in fact, it looks better on this side. You might find one side looks better than the other, and that's the side you should have showing, and put your glue dot. I always attach these with a glue dot. So I put a glue dot right behind. And does everyone know how to properly use glue dots? Because I have a few people tell me that they find them challenging too. So let me just show you how I use them. I get whatever it is I want to stick. I put it on the glue dot and I push it really hard with my thumb. Okay. And then once I've given that a good hard push, I pull the bow off and the glue dot comes as well. Okay, and now I can use that. I'm just going to stick it here for a minute because I think I will use it in a little while. And I can use it on my project. That's how I do it. Hey, Nairi, nice to see you. Oh, there you go. All right. So there is, of course, if you have a need to do perfect bows because it really annoys you if they don't look the way you want to look, then you need to get yourself something that's really easy, but you might need to nick it from the kitchen, and that's one of these. Okay, so I'm sure some of you have seen the fork bow tying method before, but we're going to revisit it today. And I've actually used it to make a few of these different bows, and I tried it with different widths of ribbon. Some of them look silly, some of them look great, and I've just played around. So all the ones, so from here to here is where the width of our bow is. So you can see the width of my bow from this end of the loop to this end of the loop is the same width as my fork, because I use my fork to make the bow. Okay, so is there anyone here who's never done bow tying with a fork? And do you know that if you buy one of those bow maker equipment thingies, okay, I know a few people have those, it's exactly the same as using a fork. Okay, so just that you know, the width of how far apart the sticky bits in the bow maker are is going to determine how wide your bow is. You've never used a fork. There you go. All right, so sorry, I forgot the question. Did I ask whether you've never seen it or whether you have seen it? Because I can't remember which way I asked the question. I've got all these people saying me, and I don't know if that means that you have done this or you haven't. So I'm so sorry. Ronnie said she hasn't used a fork. All right. Judy said she hasn't used a fork, and Leslie hasn't used a fork. Okay, good. All right, so let's do it. And I'm going to do it here on a basic fork. This is actually one of my favorite forks. Does anyone else do weird things like have favorite forks in the kitchen? I don't know. I use this one for a number of things. I don't know where it came from. It's not part of our cutlery set. It's just a standalone fork, and I just use it for all kinds of things. All right, so I'm going to pick a nice width. Let's go with, I don't know. Which one will we go with? We've got a few here to pick from. Let me just grab. So this is, he'll show you some new ribbons. This one's not new. This is the black and vanilla checked from the annual catalogue. Really like this ribbon, and it's a 3/8 of an inch, which is the perfect, or let me see, is it 3/8 of an inch? Let me see. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, 1 centimetre, which is 3/8 of an inch. Okay, so this is a 1 centimetre wide piece of ribbon. Okay, good solid size for tying bows. Okay, and yes, you have a favorite fork, Julie. Isn't that funny? All right, so I'm going to bring in, so these are all, this one, and this one are all new ribbons, and we can pick one of these. So this one's also a centimeter. This is the shaded spruce with the, it's a shiny ribbon. Okay, but it's really nice to use. So actually it's 1.3. So it's half an inch, my mistake. And then this one I think is the same. Yeah, this is 1.3. So these two are the same width. And then this one's 1/4 of an inch. And this one is 1 centimeter or 3/8 of an inch. So we've got a few different ones there. So the green, says Leslie. Okay, I'll pick that one then. All right, so this is a really nice one to tie. Now I tied one earlier that was just a regular ribbon. Okay, so just this my regular bow that I tied normally. Okay, and because I don't expect my bows to be perfect, and I quite like them to have a little bit of personality, I don't want them to be, you know, carbon copies of each other. I'm very happy with this kind of ribbon, and it ties beautifully, this one. Okay, so if we wanted to do, I've also got this one. This is the one that I did with the fork. Can you see how little it is? If you need a little tiny bow, the fork is probably your best way to go. So let's do it. I think you can do it off the roll, but it's easier to do if you actually cut it off, between 20 and 25 centimeters. Now I measure this, I'm measuring it on my glass mat, so around about here somewhere. So I'm going to just cut that off and then get these out of the way. And then I'm going to put my fork on the table, and I'm going to wrap my piece of ribbon around my fork so that my ends are going off here to the right. Okay, so then I'm going to grab the bottom one, and I'm going to make that a little bit longer because that one's the one that's going to do most of the work. So this one doesn't need to be as long. Okay, I'm going to bring this one over and fold it over so that I have like a crisscross over my fork. Is everyone following along? Is this making sense? All right. I know I love the green ribbon too, Suzanne. It's beautiful. All right. So I'm going to just, now that I've got that one over there, I'm going to hold this here just to hold it in place and slide it down a little bit because I need to use this space at the bottom. And this is why, okay, this is the important thing. You need a fork with 4 tines, okay? Tines being the little sticky uppy bits, all right? So you need 4 because you've got to have a center one that you can thread your ribbon through. Okay, so I've got my ribbon folded over here, and I'm going to take this one, the one that I've brought over from underneath, and I'm going to slide it down. I'm going to push it down through that middle hole. I hope this is making sense. I'm going to hold it up a bit higher so you can see what I'm doing. All right, so that's going to go through there. And then when you pull it hard, that kind of holds this one in place. Okay, then we're going to take that same and we're going to take it through the top at the back there and bring it forward. Okay, I'm going to do this a couple of times so you can get the hang of it. Then I'm going to turn my fork sideways, and I'm going to tie this one and this one together. It doesn't matter if you go right over left, left over right, makes no difference. Okay, so let's tie that, and we're going to pull nice and tight. All right, can you see that, what I've just done? All right, now I actually usually bring my 2 ends out so they're going, if my fork is up and down, my 2 ends are east and west, okay, side to side. All right, if you want to, you could bring them down now, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to now slide the whole thing off the fork, and when you turn it over, can you see my little bow? Isn't it cute? Okay, I'm going to pull these ends down. So I'm going to fiddle around. You can do that while it's still on the fork if you want to, but I'm just going to pull them down, holding onto the middle of my bow. All right, and it just comes together so cute. How cute is this little bow? Look at that. So if you want, I know it's cute as, exactly. So at this point now you can decide how long you want your piece to be. If you don't mind working with a slightly shorter ribbon, I think 20 centimeters is plenty. But if you want to give yourself plenty of room to move, then you might want to go, 23, 24 centimeters, something like that. So I'm just going to trim these off to be the length that I think they should be. It's a bit like getting a haircut. You can always go shorter, but you can't add it back on once you've cut it, right? So you're better off starting with it not too short and then take more if you need it. All right, so There you go. There's our little bow, and I can cut those ends shorter if I want to. Yeah, super cute. It's a really good, useful bow for, for what we're doing. So all your bows that you do with any of these ribbons are going to be this wide because that is the width of your fork, okay? Does that make sense? I can't wait to see all your bows, ladies. All right, so you can see I've got a whole bunch of them in here. This one also done with the fork, and I did it with a much wider ribbon. This is with the vanilla satin ribbon, this one. And to be honest, it looks a little bit silly because the ribbon really is wider than it's okay, but it looks a little bit silly because I think the ribbon is too wide for a fork this size. Yeah, look, if you do want to run and get your fork, go do it now and we'll do it together because I'm going to do it a couple more times so you can follow along. Okay. Now you need the green ribbon. It's the best. It's really nice ribbon. I have a few favorites. I'm also a big fan of this Blackberry Bliss and Gold. This is a super nice ribbon, and it's like a woven weave. Really, really nice. Does it say what it is? Textured ribbon. Yeah, really, really nice. But it's got the gold on the edges, which make it very classy. Okay, so that's really nice. Now I did that one with the fork, and look how it ended up. So it's the width of the fork. Looks super cute. I can cut these off shorter if I want them. But you can see how the actual loops and the center usually end up pretty close to perfect. It's these ends sometimes that, we might need to trim those off or something like that. All right, you like that one as well? Man, me too. Now, this is the same with the same size fork, but I did it with the gingham ribbon, and that's really cute. Don't you think? We like the gingham ribbon. Yes, you could put it under the cat's chin. Didn't think of that. Stick it on his collar. We actually have, as you know, 2 cats. Only one wears collar. Merlot's never worn one, and Crumpet's worn one since he was a baby, so he doesn't know any different, really. So, yeah. Now, this one is with the green bordered ribbon from the annual catalogue, and I actually really like this one. I think it's really cute. Yeah, it is cute with the gingham. I know, right? I wasn't planning on doing a double bow today, but we'll revisit that. We'll see. Okay. And then this one, because I'm going to make a card as well. So we've got to have time for that. This is I did not expect this one to work. All right. I don't know if you can see this one. Can you see it? All right. This is the pom-pom ribbon from the new catalogue. I absolutely love this ribbon. I did not expect it to tie a nice bow. I actually tied it with the fork thinking that it wouldn't turn out and I'd be able to show you why it doesn't work. It doesn't look as bad as I thought. What do you think? Oh, I haven't tried, Donna, with 2 different ones, so I can't remember, but we can give it a whirl and see what happens. It does look like snowballs on it. It's super, super cute. Even though, I would have said that was going to be way too small for this because it's a thicker ribbon. Isn't it nice though? Look at that. Isn't that fun? The camera's not getting on it very well. You can kind of see it. It's I think this is a really fun ribbon. I like the idea of using it as a border and having like underneath a panel and having lots of little pom-poms poking out the bottom. I think that's really nice. Yeah. I like it too. All right. So this one, okay, I decided let's try a couple of different things, okay? And so if you have one of these, you can use this as well, okay? Now, this is just one I picked up from the local pharmacy, and it has 10 tines, okay? Now, here's the thing. You need an even number of tines because there has to be a space in the middle for you to do your threading of your ribbon through, okay? So, yes, you do need a big fork. The bigger the ribbon, the bigger the fork, you really, okay? Yeah, perm comb, exactly. That's what I call it. The packet said something like, what did it say? Volumizing combs. I'm thinking that's weird. So there you go. It came with 2. Now this one doesn't have 10. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That one has 11. So my center is actually this tine. There's no space in the middle. So you would either have to go to the second last one and just use 10, or you could use any even number of tines. So does that make sense what I'm saying? So like, for example, this one, this bordered ribbon here, I tied on this one. Okay, that's where this size came from, and I actually like it. I think that size works really, really well. Yeah, an afro comb. I know, right? What we used to call them perm combs. So, so there you go. But this is super fun because it actually gives you nice loops. This is the bordered ribbon, so it actually turned out pretty nice. I think I used the whole thing, but if I didn't want it as wide as that, I could just use less. Let me find, what ribbon will I use? I'll try the gingham ribbon. Instead of using 10, I'm going to use 8, and I think it should work just fine. So let me have a look here. So I'm going to cut this off about here. All right, so my back one needs to be longer than my front one. It's going to go over. I'm going to pretend that that's as far as it goes. Okay, so we're ignoring these two, and I'm using the 8. So there is a space in between. There's 4 and 4, so my space is in the middle. All right, so I'm going to pick it up. And then this one is going to go down through the space, the middle space at the bottom there. Whoop. And then I'm going to bring it up through that middle space again. I'm going to turn it sideways, and I'm going to tie it. I'm going to hold it nice and tight, and I'm going to hold it. And this is easier than getting someone to put their finger in the middle while you're tying your bow, by the way. All right, so can you see that I've only used 8? So using a perm comb like this, or an afro comb, or whatever you want to call it, is actually quite a good idea because you can make it as wide or as thin as you like. Okay, so I'm going to bring this down, and I'm going to have them going. Actually, I'm going to bring them all the way down. I'm going to see if I can jiggle it around and adjust it while it's still on the comb. Should be able to. Yep. Okay, now that I've done that, I'm taking that off, and I'm going to cut my... I'm just going to cut them straight because this ribbon really doesn't fray very much at all. So let's get that through. All right, and then when I turn it over, there's my bow. Okay, so you can, you know, jiggle these around and make them sit the way you want them to sit. The other thing, another good little tip, use a glue dot. If these aren't going the direction you want them to, and I want them to go more down, what I can do is I can actually use my roll of glue dots. Give me a second while I grab them. And I'm going to pick up a glue dot. You can use anything like point of scissors. I'm just going to use a bone folder, and I'm going to pick up one of these little guys, and we're going to put it, is that the right side? Which side did I want? I want it on, okay, I want it on the back. Okay, I'm going to put it right there in the middle, and it's going to hold those little ties in place. Okay, so that one's working well. This one needs its own glue dot, I think. So I use glue dots sometimes just to force something into submission. That's probably doesn't sound very nice, does it? But that works for me. So now my pieces are sitting better. Anyway, you get the idea. When you put it down, it will sit in a better position. Okay, so a hair comb in the 10 essential tools. Yeah, well, they don't sell them, so I'm guessing they probably won't. All right. So that was using 8 out of 10 of my tines to get that size. Okay. If I use all 10, I get a slightly bigger one because it's wider. Okay. Can you see that? So, all right. How are we doing, guys? You liking this? Is this good? All right. So we've talked about a cutlery fork. You actually comb your hair with one, Donna. Nothing wrong with that. My husband does too, and I couldn't find his, so I actually had to go and buy one because I thought I was going to use his. I hadn't told him that. But he actually uses those, I don't know what they are. I should show you, but it's like a round, it's a round plastic disc with like little spiky bits on it that he runs through his hair because he doesn't have, you know, he has a lot of hair for a man his age, but it's very short. So he has to use something like that just to comb it down in one direction. Ah, there you go, Tanya. Good, 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 good. So exactly, they're going to have glue dots behind them, so they're going to stay where I want them to. Exactly. All right, so we're making good progress. Now this one, I want to show you this. All right, so remember I said before that this is a little bit wide for a bit wide for this particular ribbon, and the ribbon is too wide for the small fork. All right, so here's what I did with that one. I actually, and I hope you can follow along with this. Actually, I might even have, I thought I actually had some of this already cut, but maybe not. I'll find it later probably. All right, so I'm going to use more of this because it's going to go around something else. And probably about 50 centimeters. So about that, I think. Let me just cut that. And what you can do, if you notice, guess how many fingers I am holding up right now? 4, which means I can use my finger as a fork if I want to. Now, this is a little bit trickier because it means I'm doing everything with one hand, but let's pretend my hand is a fork, okay, and I'm going to use this, and I'm going to come in here, same as before, and I'm going to go down between those, my third and fourth finger there. All right, I'm going to pull that through. All right, and then this one's going to come up and go back through. Actually, did I do that wrong? I did it wrong. It's got to go right around the back, so it actually goes around all of them. All right, then it comes up. All right, now the hardest part, of course, of this is tying it, because you've only got one hand to tie, but you can do it. All right, so you just need a little bit of patience with that. And how wide you hold your fingers is how wide your bow is going to be. I'm going to pull it really tight. Now I'm going to take it off my fingers. And I can pull it out. And then I can muck around with the ties at the back so that they end up facing the same direction. So this is exactly the same thing as what we did before, but on a bigger scale. And so on. So you want to have, with this one, you'll probably want to have a bit of a play around. It's not as easy as using a fork, but you can do it. Can you see that we're getting there? All right, so we end up with our 2 ties, and we have our loops and our bow in the middle there. Can you see that? You've got stubby fingers, Sheila. It's okay. It's okay, no troubles. All right, so how do we get this one? Now, this is a ribbon that would fray a bit and looks a bit weird. Quite a few of our ribbons, they fray, but they don't fray well. Some do, but what I find, a lot of them, because they're joined here on one edge, when you try and fray them, okay, they catch on that end like that. Can you see what I'm trying to say? So instead, what is good for a ribbon like this is you fold it in half vertically, like this. Just going to bring it in. Okay, so I folded it over on itself like that. I decide where I want to, how long I want it to be, and I'm going to cut it from the fold to the outside edge on an angle. So I've gone through both layers so that when I open it up, I get this flagged end. Okay, and that looks really nice. You can do that with any thicker ribbon, but I do find that the thinner ribbons, it doesn't work as well, and it's much easier to fold a thinner ribbon, obviously. But I like the thicker ones. I like to do this with. So from the fold out to the outer edge and so on. Can you see how that's looking? So I would fiddle around with this more and get it closer to perfect, the way I want it to sit. But I do like the ends done like that. So there you go. I used to do flagged ends for your daughter's hair ribbons. You're halfway there, Tanya. You know what you're doing. Gina threw her fork and ribbon out the window. Might need a little bit of practice there, Gina. I'm so sorry. All right. So did anyone see my picture? All right. In our garage, we have a pitchfork, and it is really, really big. I did this many years ago, and I used a garden fork, like a handheld garden fork. And I remember last time I went looking for it, it took me a while to find garden fork that had 4 tines. Okay, they all seem to have 3. And when I went in today, because I went in there this morning and thought I'm going to try this exercise again because I couldn't find my old garden fork. I'll find it now that I've made this video. We're going to find it somewhere. But I couldn't find any. And there was even one that had a box of forks. In the box of forks was all these 3-tined forks, and on the outside of the box was a picture of a 4-tined top. And I said to the guy that was helping me, I said, that picture's just to tease me, right? He said, yeah, it is. He said, there's not 4-tined forks that I know of in our shop. He said, but I did find, and this is what he gave me. I don't know if you can see it. Look how big it is. It is not, okay, it is not a full-size pitchfork. It's somewhere between a cutlery fork and a pitchfork. All right, so it's smaller. It's only about 1 meter long. It's not a huge one, but this certainly, I thought to myself, you know, even though this is way bigger than what we need, this would be a really great size if you wanted to tie a bow, like a big fat ribbon for like a wreath, or to put on a Christmas tree or a mantelpiece, or something that required a really big ribbon, right? So I went, yeah, it's a stubby pitchfork. Exactly. That's what it is. So, is that what you call it, Sheila? A border fork. Thanks, Nicole. I will. I have done that in my lifetime before. That reminds me of being back on the farm. But anyway, this one here I thought would be really, really great. So you're going to get about a 6-inch wide ribbon with this, because that's the width of your fork. Okay, so don't you think that would make a really great wreath size ribbon? I think it would be great. Exactly. Tines. Oh yes, Tanya has spelt tines for you, Leslie. Tynes. You've never heard that before. There you go. Yep, this one has 4 tines, so there they are. They are tines. All right, so don't say I'm not dedicated to my audience going out and buying props like this, right? So this is going to work best with a really wide ribbon. We used to have a really wide, like 2-inch wide green ribbon a few years ago, a green satin patterned ribbon. And I don't think I have any of that left. Hang on one second. I'm just going to go over and see. I don't think I do. The widest one I could find, this is also retired, but this is 1 inch wide. So the vanilla one that we have right now, this one is 3/4 of an inch. You can see it's not as wide as this one. This one was from, I think, mini catalogue last year, and this is 1 inch wide. So that might be the widest one I have. I'm just going to double check my retired ribbon stash, because I had that lovely big green ribbon. That was so good. Yeah, I don't have it anymore. I did use it. I think I used it up wrapping presents last Christmas. So I did brown paper packages and tied them up with, sounds like my favorite things, doesn't it? Tied them up with the green satin ribbon, and it looks so good. Yes, exactly. A great idea for wreaths, but you might have to hide them from your husbands because you don't want them using them in the garden, do you? Thanks, Ronnie, for that image. There was the wide silver ribbon. Are you thinking of this one? This is the Halloween ribbon that we had from a couple of years ago. It kind of looks like spider web, but it's not wide enough for this either, I don't think. You could possibly do that, but we don't have that one anymore. But let's try this and let's see. I haven't tried it, but I think it will work just fine. This is about 60 centimeters of ribbon. So let's see if I've pulled enough off. Yeah, I have. It's going to be fine. And you can see this one frays pretty well. Look at that. So I've got some, I'm just going to cut this edge off where I'd peeled it back. All right, let's see what we can do with this. All right, so let's do the same technique. All right, so it's going to go, oh, hang on a second, more bits to cut off. It's been sitting in my retired box for a while. All right, I'm trying not to clank it around on the glass mat. Okay, so this one's going to go over and then down that hole, remember? And then let's just hide that. And then down through the center again. I cut too much off. And then pull it tight. And let's have that right there in the middle. I'm so sorry about the clunking. And then let's pull that nice and tight. All right. Now, do I want to try and get this adjusted down? I think I do while it's still on the fork. All right. And here we go. Let's cut that off. And I could fray the ends, which this ribbon frays, like I said, really nicely, apart from the fact that you might need to, like when I pull it off, it's probably going to hold on to one edge. I don't know. Let's try. Yeah, it's going to hold on to one edge, but I'm not worried about it. Let's pull that out. All right, I need to sit down. As soon as I've done this, I need to sit down and make a card, or we won't get time to make a card today. So I really want to get that done for you. Also, for anyone who's wondering, the tutorials for last week's craft along are available, and you know, if you're interested in those, you can go to my blog and actually purchase them. But we have had quite a few people who've had trouble with the PayPal link this month. I think something's changed with the way that I've got the code. So if you cannot purchase, just send me an email and I will sort that out for you. I'll invoice you. All right, let's slide this off. Now this would, please understand, this would look better with a bigger ribbon, like a wider ribbon. But this is not bad. Hang on, let me see. I'm going to adjust, fiddle around. Let's see if it looks better. Oh, she looks better on this side. Huh. Well, there you go. Right, and then I would fray the other end as well, so they're both the same. But you can see how it looks anyway. So it's a nice, it gives you a nice big bow. And if you're doing this with a really wide ribbon, that would be fantastic on a wreath or something like that, right? Or decorating Christmas trees or any of the things. You haven't received the PDF yet. Thank you, Leslie. I'm so sorry. That's probably my error. So thank you for mentioning it. Thank you so much. Because what I've been doing is sending individual emails out to people who can't purchase through the link, and then I've got to remember once they've paid to send the PDF. And in your case, I probably just have not done that because I missed it. So I'm so sorry if that's the case. Because I prefer it when I have a system. Is what's meant to happen is people are meant to order and the system is meant to automatically send it, so I don't have to do it manually. And so I'm being a little bit remiss this month because I'm having to remember to do that. Oh, that's okay, no worries. Yes, a single knot is enough to hold. In fact, if you do a double knot, it'll be too bulky. So you just want a single knot, one over, like right over left or left over right. It doesn't matter which way you go. Ah, yes, that would have been great with Olivia's wedding invites, Denise. That would have been fantastic. Yes. Careful where you throw that fork, Gina. Oh, that's so funny. All right. So there you go. This is hopefully giving you some ideas about what to do with how to do different bows and how to use a fork. Now, there is actually in our new catalog, there's a die set called, is it called Make a Bow? I'm trying to remember what it's called. Take a bow, or is it actually Take a Bow? And then, you know, that's a play on words with a bow. I think that's what it is. Yeah, take a bow or take a bow bundle, and it makes really cool, like fancy decorative bows for presents and stuff like that. Now, I am actually going to show that to you at some point, but I didn't order that straight up, and it's something that's still yet to arrive. So when it does arrive at a later video, I'm going to do that with you guys one Tuesday. All right, let's do a really super quick, because I'm running behind time. Card that uses one of the bows we just made. I haven't even decided which one I want to use yet, but I'm going to use the Peaceful Evergreens stamp set. I know that. So I'm deciding which size I want to have. Will that be too big? That might be too big. So let me try a smaller one. So this is the Peaceful Evergreens set, and I'm thinking I'm going to use a small tree because I'm going to cut it out with a circle. Probably should have cut the circle first, but oh well, doesn't matter. it's going to be what it's going to be. So this is Mossy Meadow that I'm using, and this is a really nice Christmas tree. It gives you, it's a distinctive one, so you have like darks and lights, and super nice. So, and I'm actually thinking maybe I will, I'm going to stamp this off. I want a lighter one here in the background. Oh, it's not terribly much lighter. Oh, well. And then I'm going to cut this out with a circle. Now, I've been doing a few Christmas trees on circles over the last little while. You've seen me do a few of them now. I did one on Sunday night where, remember the one that we did with this one? So similar idea. Okay, so I'm just going to keep this really simple. I'm not even going to put anything down in the foreground. I'm just going to quickly cut that out, and I just want those trees to be on my circle there. And this is the stylish shape dies that I'm using, because everyone knows how much I love them. I still think they're one of the best die sets, if not the, no, I'm actually going to say it. I think it's the best die set we currently have, because it's super, super useful. You will use them over and over. So if you're looking for a really great die set, Stylish Shapes is your friend, okay? And we've got a few people here I know who believe that that is true. I'm going to use Night of Navy. Oh, no, will I? I don't know. Maybe I will. I just can't help myself. I'm going to bring in my, just a little bit of a, you know, I love to do this. So it's an easy way of adding a bit of sky and color. And I actually want it to look like it's coming down. So I'm actually just flicking it over the tops of the trees. And let's add a bit more color around the edges. There we go, just like that. And then I'm going to get a cloth. Give me a second. A tissue will be good. And get rid of any residue left over, because I forgot to wet my cleaning cloth before I started. Okay, happy with that. That's looking really good. Although we've got a lot of vanilla showing through here, and I don't know whether I want that. I may end up getting rid of that. I am going to bring in a background. Will we go with red or will we go with green? We're going to go with green. This one, I think. That's rather nice, isn't it? Yeah, that's going to look good. So this is specialty paper, absolutely beautiful paper. This is called, actually, I can't even remember what this paper is called. I've got to look it up. So this is available from tomorrow, this paper, and it's stunning. I've been just enjoying playing around with it a little bit. I've only just started to play around with it, but it's just beautiful. And actually, I was just thinking it would have looked nice on these envelopes. The cards and envelopes as well. So, all right, I want more gold, so that's this end. So this is 9.5 by 13.8. So it's going to be enough to have a mat. And this is going to end up on here. Maybe I do want to keep the vanilla because there's a bit of contrast there. So that actually isn't bad, even though I wouldn't normally do the blue and the green. I mean, it's an outdoor scene, so I think it's going to work. And I'm going to have some stamping in my sky. And let's use the same color. Let's use Night of Navy again. And I'm just going to have a little bit of this, not too much because it's dark. Someone's got their motorbike out there. I can hear. All right, can you see how we've got a little bit of like something going on in the sky there? It looks nice, doesn't it? All right. I know, right? The paper is stunning. So beautiful. I'm glad you have it, Leslie. That's such cool paper. All right, I'm going to pop this on a Mossy Meadow base. So let's cut that. 10 centimeters wide by 14.3. So it's going to be 1/2 centimeter larger than the piece of paper we cut out underneath. So this is going to go on here like so. All right, then this will go on here. Now I was thinking this could almost look like an ornament, and we could have, I mean, I probably wouldn't do this, but you could have, I mean, it doesn't look terrible. It might be too much going on, or we could pick, I'm just thinking what, we could have like our little red, that's rather nice, isn't it? And then we could even run a piece of, oh, look, do I have some leftovers of this that I cut off? Remember Marilyn was saying we should have, so bits of this that we've cut off. And if I had a piece running from here, under here to the top, it's going to look like it's hanging like an ornament. What do you think about that idea? Do we like that idea? It does look a bit like sun shining through the trees. I didn't think of that. Season of Elegance. Thank you so much, Cherie. That's what it is. All right, so I'm going to quickly put this together. And what I'm doing here is just throwing together basically a really quick, easy card. Now that we've tied our bows, which was the hardest part of the whole thing, we can just put a card together. And then I'm going to try and finish up so that I don't keep you guys over time. I've never actually, I don't think I've had a Technique Tuesday go over an hour. And today I think we might be going to have our first time. But oh well. If I go over, I go over. I try and keep these ones under. All right, what do you think? Do we like that? The vanilla showing looks like snow on the trees. Well, there you go, Sherry. Thank you. And welcome. I don't think we've met. All right, so let me pop. I'm thinking, do I have, I've got, you know, if you had some pieces of this left over from before, then that would be an easy thing to do. Pop that here. And I'm going to just put this right in the middle. And I'm going to cheat a little bit. You could, you know, I find a really good way to, if you want to put like ribbon over on something like this, whack some tape on the back and that holds your ribbon down. And then the other side, we're going to have a glue dot on this side. And sometimes the easiest way to do it, you can stick it straight on like so, but sometimes the easiest way to do it is to pick the glue dot up like what we did before with like a bone folder or the end of your scissors or something like that. I'm just going to push that down. It just needs to hold it. It doesn't need to anything else more than that. And then this little guy is going to go so that the ribbon there looks like it's right behind my little bow. And I'm going to put this on with dimensionals. Special with the special fork. Well, a couple of people said that, so maybe I should reevaluate, because originally I was thinking it looks like the vanilla didn't look right, but I think you guys are all seeing something that I did not. So there we go. All right, looks good. Now I could put a greeting down the bottom here and pop that whole thing on a piece of vanilla, because this is vanilla, so I would go with a piece of vanilla for my cardstock, and then a greeting as well. And we have really nice greetings this year. My favorite greeting out of this set, which is the companion set to the Peaceful Evergreen, is this one that says a season of wonder and happiness. I really like that. I think that's really beautiful. But you could also use any of the others. I've still got hanging around here on my desk, I think it's still here, the die that I cut with this. You know, you could do a Merry Christmas and put a Christmas down the bottom here. You could do that, which might look rather nice, because then the red would have a friend down the bottom, so it wouldn't look like it was just an isolated bit of ribbon. It would look like the colour floats in with something else. So there you go. Makes a 3D bow. There you go. They don't have to be perfect, Jen. Absolutely. And I think a lot of people have such a high expectation that their bows have to be perfect. It's no wonder people think they can't tie bows. right? Don't you think that's true? So there you go. Well, I'm going to call this done today, even though I know we're about a minute over time. But I think we did well, and we covered lots and lots of things. I hope everyone had a little think about how they do their bows, and maybe it gave you some ideas on how you could change up for some different types of bows. Lot of fun, and we have so much beautiful ribbon coming out in the new catalog. Who's excited about the new ribbon? Did you or not the new, sorry, what am I saying? Who's excited about the new catalog is what I was trying to say, not the new ribbon, but we're excited about the ribbon too, right? Oh, that's so funny. All right. No perfection in handmade. That's the whole point, right? Exactly. All right, you guys. Well, let me switch over to the desk so you can see my face again. Here I am. I hope you had fun with that today. I had fun, even though, and I reckon one of the most fun things that I did today was go to Bunnings and confuse the heck out of the guys that were trying to help me find a 4-tine fork. Because when I had to explain to them what I was doing, and they were looking at me like I was a little bit crazy, a little bit unhinged, and I told them, never mind, you guys, you know, it's going to be live on YouTube at 2 o'clock today, so there's something to look out for. I think they really thought I was a bit crazy. Okay. All right, you guys, so have a fantastic day, whatever you're doing. I hope it's lots of fun. I will have some announcements coming up for you. We do have a Zoom class coming, and I have made my decision. We are making our Zoom class with the Decorative Trees bundle, and I hope that doesn't disappoint anyone too much. But the nice thing is that I also made some projects with the Humble Home bundle, and I will be using that in my live. So you are going to see lots of cool things coming out. So there'll be the Decorative Trees bundle. If you purchase it from me, you'll be able to go to my Zoom class, which will be a virtual class free of charge. You've already covered it by purchasing the bundle. If you're in my team, you'll be able to go free of charge. And then also I'll open it up to customers as the time gets a little bit closer. Okay, so other people who wish to purchase the class for $15. So I hope everyone is well. I'm thinking at the moment, somebody asked me the other day, when is the Zoom? I was looking at my calendar, and I have decided one of 2 days, and I know that sounds very indecisive of me. I seem to be doing that a lot lately. But if I keep it, last time was a Wednesday, and I'm thinking either Wednesday the 25th, which would be another 2 o'clock slot, but then I have craft along the following day at 2 o'clock. And I'm wondering whether I should move the Zoom just to keep it out of the way and not make it too confusing. I'm thinking about moving it to the following Monday afternoon, which is an afternoon I don't normally do live. So that would be the 30th of September. So let me know if either of those don't work for you. But in the meantime, I will be going with one or the other, and we'll announce that over the next couple of days. Does that make sense, Sheila? Does that make sense for you? I see you were asking what date. All right, guys. Have a fantastic week, and I will see you all again on Friday night. Have a good one. See you soon. Enjoy the new catalog.